What's going on, guys? If you clicked on today's video, you probably want to know how I deal with big losses and trader psychology and all of that. Today, I had one of my biggest trading losses in a single day. I lost around $100 and it sucks. There's no way to beat around the bush. It hurts to lose and it just sucks. There's nothing else to kind of say about it. This video is just going to be about how I kind of deal with it. But honestly, it's not the end of the world. Like, it happens once and you can move on and you learn from it. And you could argue that more important than green days are red days, because you could actually learn from those and then, change your strategy or refine your strategy so you make more profit in the long run. I'll leave a link down in the description to today's video where I lost some money and you could kind of watch what I did. I think today I didn't trade what I usually trade, so off the bat, not sticking to your system is a recipe for disaster. And honestly, reflecting over this, I realized that most of my big losing days are kind of the day after the market sells off dramatically, especially in this market. It's just kind of, so let's say Wednesday, the market sells off crazily. Thursday, it's going to be volatile because you don't know if the market will continue to sell off or if people will take profits and the market will go up. So it's kind of hard to trade. And for my strategy, it puts me in a kind of a tough position. But that's what happened today. I also kind of added to a position which I'm never going to do again because it just doesn't work for me, and I just always end up over leveraging and as a result losing more money. How I kind of deal with a big loss is just kind of shrugging it off. What I did this morning was go for a walk and clear my head. It allows me to kind of reflect on the day and on my trades. It's very hard for me to look back at my trades right after I finish trading because I'm usually pretty emotional if I lost a lot. So there's no value in me trying to analyze my trades right after. It's pretty hard for me to kind of look at them when I'm also in it. So I need to take time to step away and then, review it with a clear head. And that's what YouTube has allowed. That's what YouTube has allowed me to do primarily, is to kind of, see what I like and see what I don't like in terms of my trading. And I'm forced to review my trades by making these videos for you. Some type of terms in psychology or some type of tips for psychology. There's a couple ways that I do that kind of help me stay level-headed throughout the day, not just, in trading, but also throughout, like, in general life. One of them is meditation and mindfulness. There's so much literature out there about how meditation kind of calms you down and kind of keeps you level-headed and focused throughout the day. You stay in the moment and you don't get attached to things. I'll leave a link in the description to one of my favorite books on meditation and the book that kind of got me into it. It's called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. It's a quick read. It's really fun, and it's probably a good read right now given everything going on. It's probably a good break. It's just about this guy, how he started on his path of meditation, kind of his journey from in college to kind of, hitting rock bottom kind of to then, moving back up and restarting. It's a really enjoyable read, and if you're interested in meditation and mindfulness, this is probably the best starter book that I would recommend. The next book that is also good and it's very applicable to trading is called Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. And what the book talks about is that essentially our brains have kind of a negativity bias. Because if you think back in like the prehistoric times and due to evolution, our brain always had to be on the hunt for always searching for potential threats, because that would keep us alive, right? Like, our brains would keep looking for tigers or lions back in the day so we could run away. Obviously, we're not going to get attacked by a tiger now, but our brains don't know that. So there's sort of a gap between where we live now and how our ancestors used to live. And that's kind of created a negativity bias. So we're more inclined to focus on the negative and not on the positive things in our life. And that makes sense. But there's a way to combat that. And his kind of thesis is that the brain is malleable, and he draws on neuroplasticity and how you could kind of, if you focus on the positives, then you could kind of shape your brain. So what I do is, there's a couple of things you could do. You could write down 5 things you're grateful for, 5 things you did well today, stuff like that, just to kind of train your brain to focus on the positive. But in terms of trading specifically, what I do is I always like to focus on the positive of my trades. So, I lost $100 today, but I could very easily, went got really mad and blown up my account, right? That $100 could have turned into a $1,000 loser or a $1,500, whatever the number is. It could have just been a crazy amount that I lost. But instead, I turned off my trading platform, turned off my computer, and walked away. And that's arguably the best decision I made. And today, that's probably the best trade I had today, was just stepping away. And are there trades I could have taken that could have potentially made me the money back? Sure, but it's honestly so hard to see clearly, and you don't even know you're not seeing clearly when you're in the moment because so much is going on. The best trade you could take is no trade at all. So I like to focus on that, and you got to focus on the positives, right? Some trades were good in theory, and you got to understand that you can't just solely judge your performance by your P&L, because over time, sometimes trading is about risk and reward. Sometimes trades just don't go your way, even though the setup was kind of ideal and sound. But there's no real answer to kind of, losing money sucks, but it's just part of the process. But the best thing, and what I realize, is that usually the next day, one, there's always a next day, and two, your winners, or your days that you win, will often kind of outpace your losers, assuming you limit your risk. The reason why today was such a bad day was because I doubled my size, and that's something I'm never going to do again, and a lesson I learned. But usually your kind of big green days will outweigh your tiny losses, and that's just part of it. But yeah, there's nothing else to do. Best thing is just to step away and take a break. That's great about the weekends, is if you want to kind of learn and read, or just completely step away from the markets, that's awesome. Just take a breath, take a breather, do something else, let your brain kind of focus on something else, and then there's always the next day, or that Monday, to get back into kind of the trading environment. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button. Again, this is all me sharing to you, and all I ask in return is for you to hit the like button and hit the subscription button, because for me, that's another step in my journey to financial freedom.